Good morning, I'm Kurt Caraway. We're here at Comma Coffee for Our Town. This morning we're going to be talking with Amy Clemens, who's running for Assembly District 40 seat. Right now we are going to take a short break for a word from our sponsor.
What's the role of a healthcare system? Is it to make you better when you're sick? To mend you when you're injured? Are you ready to live healthier? Start today at herestoyourhealth.net, a free service of Carson Tahoe Regional Healthcare.
And we're back, and we're talking with Amy Clemens. Good morning. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
All right. And you have decided to throw your hat into the ring for Assembly District 40?
I have, absolutely.
Okay. So how's it going so far?
Great. It's been amazing. I mean, it's been an amazing experience. I've really completely enjoyed all I've learned about the government and things that you never knew as a normal citizen.
Yeah. Tell everybody a little bit about, for people who don't know who you are.
I'm Amy Clemens, and I've lived here in Carson City since 1996. I am a mother. I have a daughter that's 8, and I am married to my husband, Steve, for the last 10 years, and moved here from Michigan. Absolutely love the West. Have been a financial advisor since 1996, and love the finance business, and fantastic at balancing budgets, which is kind of what prompted me to getting into the political arena.
Okay. And what drew you to want to go for the Assembly, state legislature, and not maybe the other offices that were open?
I think we have such a crisis with our state budget that we really need someone with some business sense and some financial savvy to get involved in the budgeting issues and the statewide funding issues. So that's really what, that and some good friends pushing me along the way, saying, we really need you to run for this seat.
Okay.
Then,
yeah, because now Bonnie Parnell has held the seat for a while, and now it's an open seat.
Right.
And you're running on the Republican side.
Yes, I am.
And you have 2 other opponents.
Yes.
All right.
I do.
And
which is good. Competition is good.
Okay.
I think it brings out the best in people, or the worst in people, depending on who they are. And I think that's what the country needs to get back to, is having people compete for positions and showing what they have to bring to the table.
Yeah. Now, the budget's looking like having a $3 billion hole in it coming up in this next session. What do you think you can do to fill that hole?
Well, I think it has to be done by cutting spending. I don't think any of us can take any more tax hikes. I've signed the No Tax Pledge, which has been around the country, and I've signed it as soon as I got my hands on it, and I really believe we can do this by cutting spending. I think that we have been so fat and happy at the top for so long that we keep living like the revenues are coming in, and it's not, and it's time to make adjustments to fill that void. Okay.
Now, what spending would that come out of? Because, I mean, education takes up a pretty good chunk of the budget, so
Education's been hit so hard, and I don't think education can be hit anymore. I think there are so many layers in our government, and we've been doing all the cuts from the bottom, and I think the cuts have to come out of the top. Instead, you can get one person to retire that's been in there 28, 35 years, where you're having to fire 3 and 4 people from the bottom. So I think they really need to look at people that need to retire, that are ready to retire, and have them cut from the top in the middle.
Like retirement buyouts or things like that to get people to retire? Okay.
Yes, or just forced retirement instead of buyouts.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things in the state budget that we have to do, but let's come back after our break and we'll talk about those. So we'll take a break right now.
If you're hungry for Hawaiian barbecue, L&L will cook it just for you.
America is going crazy over L&L Hawaiian Barbecue, a fusion of tasty dishes, freshly cooked with big portions at prices you can afford.
There's one thing I love about Hawaii, it's L&L Hawaiian Barbecue.
L&L, Hawaii's original, Hawaii's best.
And we're back, and we're talking about the state budget with Amy Clemens.
Absolutely.
There are big parts of this budget that are agencies that there's lots of different mandates having to go with either court cases or federal law and things like that. Is there some? I mean, $3 billion is a pretty good chunk.
It is.
Is there any specific part of the budget besides trying to get people to retire at the top that you would aim at to try to fill that?
Well, that's been the tough thing about coming in as a new person is, well, and I think even all of my competitors have the same trials right now, is to get your hands on the real budget, which is not easily done. And I think you have to really get into the meat of it, because I can't, say categorically, let's cut this for department or that department. We really have to sit and analyze like a business would and say, these are the places we can be cut. I've been walking into government buildings since I decided on this path, and one of the buildings is kept at 77 degrees day and night. And things that we all do to cut our expenses at home, the government needs to start doing, turning off the lights on vacant buildings. And the cuts that are simple, we need to start there and work our way up and really analyze the places that can be cut. And they might be painful, but they need to be cut.
So now, what are some other issues besides the budget that you would like to tackle as a
jobs, creation of jobs. We've relied so long on gaming and tourism that we can't do that any longer. We've seen what that's done to us. I mean, we have nothing to fall back on when the economy turned down. So we have to create jobs, and I think that bringing incentives for, we have great, our state is amazing. We have no inventory tax, we have no state tax, and we should be bringing business here in droves. Instead, we have really stagnated ourselves on what we bring in, focusing on gaming and tourism.
Yeah. Now, part of the state budget problem is this dependence on gaming and tourism, which is up and down. And there's been moves before to try to restructure the taxes in the state so there's not so much of this huge dependence on that, and spreads the pain around a little bit more. Is that something that you think should be looked at, or?
No.
Okay.
No, I think we have enough. I mean, I don't know about, well, everyone I've ever talked to, rich, poor, and otherwise, do not want to pay any more tax. And I think that we've paid for so long that I think that we need to solve our problems by bringing in industry instead of just relying on what we have. We have to be outside of our box and look outside of just what we normally do in Carson City for solutions.
Okay. Is there, now in terms of bringing in industries, what industries do you think should be brought in? Obviously, besides gaming and tourism.
Right, besides gaming. Well, I think because of the no inventory tax, we could have warehouses here, which we started to work on, and I think if we can bring the NNDA and NBC and our redevelopment agencies to work together instead of all separately in their own genres to bring in business, to bring in every Walmart and Borders, to have all of their inventory here in the States and pack and ship from here, and just that alone would bring in revenue and jobs.
Now there's been some move about to try to because that's kind of been a lot of the industries we pulled in have been more warehousing and those kind of things, but to try to pull in more high-tech people with higher paying jobs, so it's not just warehouse people. Is there something that we can do to make that happen? Is that?
I think that's where the goal has to be. I mean, that's kind of the golden ring at this point. We need to bring in corporations that will bring in high-tech jobs and sustainable jobs that aren't just here for the fly-by-night, that we can bring in for the long term. Okay.
Well, thanks for coming on, talking with us, and thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you next time on Our Town at Comic Coffee.
I'm here. I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here. I'm here.
As a matter of fact, at Carson Tahoe, we have over 1,100 healthcare professionals, and they're all here for one reason.
Your health.
Carson Tahoe Regional Healthcare. Here's to your health.